Welcome into the first episode of Slants and Drags. I'm Alex Drake. That is Cameron Ryan. Cameron Ryan lives in Ohio. Please forgive him, and please forgive us. This came together fast, so we're not 100% dialed into our flow and everything like that. But we're gonna do our best to give you some quality content and share our thoughts and any information we have on all things Nebraska football. So, Cameron, say hi to the people.
What's going on, Alex? Um,
Is your girlfriend going to get mad when I call you Cameron?
uh, no, I don't think so. I think it'll just be weird. Nobody, nobody really calls me that. So,
Huh. All right, all right. Well, we just did a test run and we watched Drew Aller piss down his leg, and good for Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame, avenging the mess that Brian Kelly left behind for them at Notre Dame. And good for them having a
yeah,
shot
good,
to win the national title still.
good for
Get
them. Bad for
into a
your parlay.
conference. Yeah,
Bad for
bad for
your
my parlay. Bad for my parlay. Join a conference. Join a conference. All right. So tonight, a lot of big news surrounding the Huskers over the last couple of weeks. Guys leaving, guys coming in, new coaches parting ways, however you want to say politely, that Ed Foley was not retained. That may or may not be the end of the coaching cycle at Nebraska as far as coaches coming and going. We don't know yet. But yeah, so we're going to talk about four players to watch for between the transfer portal and the high school class coming in, all guys that have already signed and are confirmed. Cameron Ryan, who is your transfer portal target?
So I'm gonna go with a guy who's not one of those, top three players.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna say Hardly Gilmore. I think he's going to be a lot better than, say, On three has him as an 88, 3-star transfer. I think he's a lot better than that. Some of my coworkers, me being in Ohio, I got a lot of Ohio fans, Ohio State fans, UC fans, UK fans. They are, yes, they're upset about Dane Key, but they seem very upset about Gilmore. He has a lot of potential. He reclassed, came in at 17, just like Ryan Williams, but then he got hurt, but then came on at the end of the season. Huge deep threat for the Huskers. I think he's going to be very good. And, I'm sorry for your loss with Jalen Lloyd, but I think this could be a great replacement for him.
No, that's a good pick. I think that's a huge pick. I think that is a great find by this staff and being able to grab Hardly Gilmore, continuing that new Florida pipeline that they've developed. Not quite Miami, being from Belglade, Florida, but I like Florida speed in Nebraska. So I think that's a great pick. I originally had planned on going with my boy from OU, Deshaun McCullough. And I'm going to say I'm still super high on him. He's a day one starter, and he's a day one starter with the flexibility at about 3 different positions. But I'm going to go with Andrew Marshall. I think the defensive back, the corner from the Vandals of Idaho, I think he's a stud. On three only has him as an 87, another 3-star transfer. I think he is one of the better corners in the portal. He was highly sought after, played very well against Oregon. 6'1", 170. On film, does not appear to be afraid of contact and getting involved in the run game at all. I think he's an absolute stud and a difference maker at corner day one. But to both of our points, both position groups we've selected, a lot of transfers coming in, a lot of guys leaving those rooms. John Butler inherited that defensive back room late in the offseason, wasn't able to really recruit to it. And now you have another new DB coach with John Butler being elevated to the defensive coordinator. And then you have Dana Holgerson taking over as OC even later after 9 games into the season, and his buddy Coach Shorts coming in to coach wide receivers immediately following the end of the season, and totally retooling both of those rooms. I'm super excited to see what they're able to do. Obviously, I was a big Jalen Lloyd fan. I thought he could be very special in this offense. I'm excited to continue to follow him at Oklahoma State, as Mike Gundy happens to be one of my favorite college, obviously. But no, where do you stand on those two rooms as they stand today? But the portal hall altogether.
I think I'm very happy with where the portal is. I think we targeted in the areas that we lack great depth. And I mean, I will never be mad about taking a great skilled position talent. You can never have too much talent at the at a skill position. So I think they saw something in that room, whether it was, there wasn't a lack of proven talent, maybe, but I think they needed to improve in those rooms, and I think they did, and they did a good job of doing that.
Now, a guy that we're both super high on in the wide receiver room that has yet to play it down, but we saw him a little bit in the spring game, is Demetrius Bell.
Yep.
I'm still super high on Demetrius Bell, but he's now 2 full years behind, probably closer to 3 as he goes through this ACL rehab. I would not be surprised if they land another receiver or 2 in the portal if he exits during the next spring window. I really hope he doesn't. I think he has the opportunity to be a fantastic player.
I'm right there with you.
So let's move into the high school class. Who do you like out of the high school class?
Outside of, Cortez Mills and Dawson Merritt, I think Isaiah Mosey is right up there.
Yeah, I think Mosey and Mills, I think, they're both 4 stars, right? So this is going to sound really asinine. I think they're both undervalued.
Yep.
And I think the thing I like about them most is they're not the same type of wide receiver that we've gotten out of the portal.
Yep.
Everybody we've got in the portal, 6'1", 6'2". Cortez Mills is 6'1.5". That's what he's listed at. Mosey's 6 foot. But they to me are more skilled, quick route runners, slants, zags, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. They fit the air raid quota with the, your slants and drags,
Yeah, well, this is not going to be a fair comparison to either of them.
Yep.
Or Ja'Cory Barney, because I think Ja'Cory Barney, Jalen Lloyd was kind of a guy that I had tagged for this too, just because he had a slightly different build than Ja'Cory Barney, other than them both being under 6 foot and fast. But these 2 guys in Ja'Cory Barney strike me as somebody that can kind of fill the Dana Holgorsen need for a guy like Tavon Austin, who was amazing at West Virginia under Dana Holgorsen. So I'm excited for both those guys. I'm going to go for somebody that I expect to potentially make an impact next year. I'm going to go Jamarian Parker. I think he is going. I think he's fantastic. That running back room is just kind of a hodgepodge right now. I'm still super high on a guy like Quentin Ives. I think Quentin Ives has a lot of potential. I wouldn't be surprised to see him rotated to a different position. He's a big body, super athletic. I think he'd be a great defensive back or, kind of a coverage linebacker or safety. I think he'd fit really well in that role. But I also think he's a great running back if he can learn to lower his pad level just a little bit. So, but I think Parker is a lot closer to what Emmett is, but maybe with a little bit more breakaway speed as far as what I've been able to gather off of film.
Yeah, I'm excited about him as well. I know we talked about it earlier. He just kind of hits the hole and goes. I mean, a lot of running backs in high school, whether it's they're just playing nobody that's as good as they are. But, I'm never going to be mad looking at film and seeing a running back just shoot right through the hole.
Yeah. Again, it's high school film.
Yep.
And he just outruns everybody. The one thing I'm worried about with him is patience potentially. But his vision seems fantastic, and his ability to just put his foot in the ground and take off is second to none that I've seen coming into Nebraska since Maurice Washington. Just
Yeah. Oh,
go.
don't get me
So
started on Maurice.
I'm super excited about him. Unfortunately, Nebraska's missed out on some really good running backs in recent years, and I hope they hit with Parker because I think he has a chance to be really special.
Yep.
Other than that, Cam, anything else you want to say to the fans before we call episode 1 a wrap?
I don't want to get the bad rap of being from Ohio. Don't like the Buckeyes. Hope they lose tomorrow. But I don't see it happening. But we've been working on this for, a whole, what feels like day, but really the whole season. I'm excited to keep going, excited to get out content, get into the Husker content world. Just ready for it.
Yeah, this show. I've thankfully been down this path once before, so I know it takes a little bit for us to dial it in. It's hard doing shows with other people and not being in the same room.
Right.
So it'll take us some time to dial some things in, but it all evolves. It'll evolve, and I think this will turn out to be a great show. And we're looking forward to pumping out some good quality content and seeing where this thing takes us. So thanks for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and just stay up to date with everything we pump out. So thanks, guys.